How's it going, everybody? It's Saiyan Prince here, and I am back again with another tutorial on these Retroarch VPK bubbles. Now, for those of you who don't know, Retroarch on your PlayStation Vita can have VPK bubbles, basically on your live area. You can make a bubble for an individual game and then boot directly into it. I've done a tutorial on this twice already. It keeps getting updated by DARRYL, and that dude, he is doing awesome work. He's made the process so seamless now. I had to show you guys. So I will leave a link in the description for all of this. Once you get the Retrobuilder downloaded, unzip it using 7-zip or whatever you use, and you should be looking at a screen like this, okay? Now what you can do is you can hit view and go to hidden items, which will allow you to access more of the files in here, but they're not necessary, okay? So we're going to go into it, and I'm going to show you guys how easy this is. It is fantastic what he's achieved here. Okay, first off, you want to bring up the retrobuilder.bat file. This is going to be your hub for everything you need. What this is that he's made it super easy here. He's listed everything, and it's all in order for how you need to go about it. Number one is the input folder. So if you hit 1 on your keyboard and then hit enter, it will actually bring you up to your input folder, which I will bring that down for you. Okay, this is the folder that you need to place your images in. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know what I'm talking about. You have to have your background, which for this particular one, I'm gonna do Batman Return of the Joker for the NES. So I have my background. This will be the background that shows up before you launch into your bubble. Okay, it doesn't matter the size. It does not matter if it's PNG. Okay, it just needs to be named BG. And then this here, I've used the same image. It's going to be on my actual bubble. So the only thing that you have to do here is name the one you want to be your bubble, icon 0, and then name the one you want to be your background before you launch is BG. Okay. Once you have those two files, it doesn't matter their size. It doesn't matter if they're JPEGs. It doesn't matter if they're PNGs. None of that matters. He has made the process so easy. Then what you want to do is you want to take your actual ROM file from your Vita. Okay. So I have my Vita. It's on my D drive, and it's in Retroarch ROMs, NES, and then I've got it right there. So copy that. So make a copy. Once you've copied that, drop it right into the input folder. So if you need to see the path, it's Retrobuilder, Contents, Input, okay? And again, if you would just hit 1 on the menu, then you're good to go. Once you've got your ROM file, your BG, and your icon 0, you no longer require a startup. It's all automated, and you're basically done, okay? So I'm going to exit out of this, and then we're back on this here, which is our builder. And then if you'll see here, the option number 2 is Easy VPK. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to hit 2, enter, okay? Now what this is going to do is it's going to do all of the magic. A bunch of stuff's going to flash up on your screen for about 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, it is converting all your images. It is doing everything that it needs to do to build this, and then you're going to get a prompt box like this. Okay, like this here, and it's going to say bubble name. This is the same as it's been. Okay, so you want to name your bubble. So for this one, I'm going to name it let's do Batman Return of the Joker. Okay, so once you've got that in, hit enter. Now this is really the only part here that you could run across some issues. Just make sure that you only enter in 9 characters, exactly 9 characters. They have to be all caps, and they could be a number if you prefer. There was an issue with the last builder to where if you used any special characters in your bubble name, then it wouldn't create the bubble. DARRYL has fixed that, so you no longer have to worry about that, okay? So, and like I said, guys, I'm going to speed through this because I've already done this tutorial a couple of times. It just has gotten so much better. I wanted to show you. So I'm going to name it Batman Return of Joker. Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so you can name this whatever you want. Just make sure you don't name 2 of your title IDs the same thing. So in the future, don't use this same ID. Just come up with something different, okay? And then hit enter, and it's going to create your bubble. And guys, that's it. Once it creates your bubble, it'll tell you please wait until it's done. So let it do its thing. It's going to flash a couple times. I'm going to minus out of that. Okay, So then if you come back and look at your builder, now this is not in the contents folder. We're not in the contents folder, okay? So come back to your builder, and then there's a VPK, and then boom, it's right there, guys. It is right there. And that is it. You take it, you copy that, you just hit copy. You go to your Vita, which I'll bring up my Vita here. I saved mine in a specific place, but you can just drop it wherever in your Vita. Just remember where it's at. It is NES. I'm gonna go ahead and paste it, and it's done, guys. That's it. Get back on your Vita, and I'll show you what to do. Okay, I got my Vita, and I have gone to the location where the VPK is at, and there it is. That's my new one. I usually will rename it at this point. You can rename it here, you can rename it on your PC, it doesn't matter, but just for the tutorial, I'm just gonna show you guys. We're gonna install the package, and you'll notice this was seamless. You didn't have to resize your images. You didn't have to change their format to PNGs. It does it all automatically, and it is awesome. You don't even have to have a startup PNG because he has defaults that will automatically recognize it, and it is right there. So the image looks great. The background looks great. This is the startup here that I customized mine, and I'll show you guys at the end of the video, but I wanted to race through the start here because, guys, it is that easy now. It is that easy. Give it a second to boot up because it's actually routing through Retroarch and then routing to your ROM. So I know that people in the past have had issues with their saves not working at this point. And look at that, it boots right up. So I'm gonna just go ahead and show you guys. The controls seem to work going into stage 1. So check this out. If I go into my Retroarch quick menu, I have a background here, so it may look a little bit different than yours, but if I go into my quick menu and I hit save state, okay, and notice I'm on 1.9.0, so this is the newest version as far as I know. As of today, this is the newest version of Retroarch. So if you have 1.9.0 and your saves aren't working, I'm gonna walk you through how to do that. But check it out. See it saved at the bottom, save state, and then let's make some moves here. Now watch this. If I go to load it, boom, right back. Saves do work. Save states work, everything works. There's no issue with saves. If you're having an issue with saves, it's probably because, let me close this content, you don't have advanced options turned on in your settings, and I believe it is actually user interface, show advanced settings. Click that on, and then when you go to saves, you can write your saves to the content directory, okay? And then save states as well. What that does is it puts your saves in the exact same file as your ROM, and then you'll no longer have issues with save states, okay? I know people have had issues in the past, and I wanted to go ahead and address that on video so you guys can see that it works. And it is that easy, guys. It is that easy. If you were just wanting to add a bubble to your VPK or your live area, that is how you do it. These are Retroarch bubbles that I have made recently. All of these here, these are all Retroarch bubbles that I've made, and they all work, they all save, everything works. So if that was the only part of the tutorial that you guys were interested in, I appreciate y'all coming to hang out. For everybody else that's having issues or wanting to know a little bit more about how the system works, stick around and I'll show you a little bit more on the PC, okay? I'm gonna go back into Vita Shell and I'll show you guys some of the options. If your bubble did not work, I could show you why. So let's check that out now. Okay, we're back on the PC. And like I said, if you guys are having issues and it did not work for you, the automated system didn't work for you, don't worry, I think I have an answer for you. And we're gonna do another bubble here. I've got one already. So let's go back to the builder. Here it is, okay. All right, we're back in the builder, and I'm going to run the Retrobuilder.bat again to bring up my menu. Now, what you can do, there's a lot of extra options here, but I would say if you're just creating a single bubble, all you need to do is 1, 2, then 3, then 4. What 3 does is it actually packages the archive, and it archives everything that you've done. So let me show you here real quick for the one we just did, which was Batman Return of Joker. we will do 3, hit enter. And what that just did is it packaged everything together, okay, into an archive for us in case we ever need to reference it again. Anybody that wants to save this kind of stuff without having to manually save it, it's done. So the way you can check that is go into Contents, Resources, and then Games, and then whatever system that you made it for, it'll automatically be routed there. So we just did one for the NES, and then it's right there. And if you click on it, the VPK is there. All of the images perfectly sized, the ROM text, the core text, everything like that. The startup, which was the default, or the one I had set up. So, you know, that everything's archived, okay? So let's bring the command window back up, and I have a few of them open here. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we are going to hit the number 4 option, which is to wipe the input and contents. This isn't necessary. If you were to just go right into making your next bubble, it would work just fine, but I like to just clean the slate. And so it's gonna erase everything from the bubble that we just did, except for in the archive. So hit 4, hit enter. Okay, so now if we go and look, if you go and look in the contents and input, those images, the ROM, it's no longer here. Okay, and that's because we wiped the archive. So, or we wiped the contents there by hitting 4 and then going into that. Now, if you are weird, like me, because for some reason I'm weird and decided to do this, but if you are weird like me, and when you set up your ROMs on your Vita through Retroarch, you wanted to name it something unique, like me here, like a dum-dum. Well, there's a fix for that when it comes to your bubbles. The file pathway does have to still be UX0, and then whatever you name your ROM file, then whatever system it is, and it has to be labeled GBA or GBC, MAME, NES, just like this, okay? It has to be labeled like this. And these are currently the systems that it supports. So keep that in mind. I think it also supports Sega Genesis and maybe one other one, but we'll get into that in a second. Anyways, so if you wanted to get fancy when you decided to make your ROM pathway and the bubble's not creating for you or it's not working for you because you've named it something fancy, the auto builder isn't recognizing it. There's a quick fix for that. And then if you see, I got RetroArch ROMs, NES, and then it goes directly into my NES folder. These are where all my ROMs are. These are the actual ROM files. You can't have zip files here. It doesn't register zip files. So if you're trying to play these ROMs and they're zipped, the auto builder is not going to work for you, okay? So you may have to unzip them or write out your file pathway manually, okay? But for anybody who just has the ROMs, it's in their UX0, whatever they've named it, NES, and then whatever their ROM name is here, okay? So there is a fix for this if you've named it something funky like I have, and you go into your builder menu, and then it'll say here set ROM folder. This is a settings and options folder. So what you can do is you hit R to set the ROM folder. Now by default, this is actually set to, it's just set to say ROMs right here, but I've gone in and changed mine. And so you just change it to whatever you have yours named as. For me, it's RetroArch ROMs, okay? So I named it to that, and then that's what it set it as, okay? So I typed it in, hit enter, and then it will forever forward recognize that, okay? Now, if you wanna just look at the default cores, because RetroArch actually has multiple emulators or cores that you can use for your different ROMs. Like for example, the GBA emulators or cores, you have VBA Next, and you also have GPSP. Now I've gotten better success with GPSP for most ROMs, but not all. Some of my ROMs work best using VBA Next. And so what you can do is you can actually change the default core, which is, so if you hit D, you can look and see what the actual defaults are. So by default, GBA is set to the VBA Next core, okay? And if you would like to change that, it's simple enough to do. Let's see, we can, and sorry if y'all can hear my son in the background, he's in his room playing. It's having a big time, screaming. Okay, so what you can do is you can go into your builder, hit contents, and then resources, cores, and then here, whatever core, like let's say we want to change the main core text for your Game Boy Advance. You click on the core text, and then you just rename this, whatever the core is that you want it. So I would change this to like gpsp_libretro.self, you know, so me personally. So then save that. You have to hit File, Save. And then once you've saved it, click this batch file right here, one core input.bat. And then that will set forever forward, going forward, it will set your default core, your automatic core, as the GPSP core for Game Boy Advance. And if you ever need to reset it, he's actually saved it here, and you can just hit core swap and it'll go back to the original, okay? So, and the same thing, same process for all of these guys. So if you, you know, if you have a game in here or a core in here that, you know, you don't want to use, you want to use a different one, and you've already looked at the defaults, you've looked at these and you said, oh man, I don't like Gambat, I want, you know, whatever. One of the other ones that I have that I use, that's the one I like. That's okay, you can change it. And then forever going forward, this will be set to whatever you set it as. So I just wanted to go through that really quickly. Okay, I'm gonna hit 0, and this will take us back to the main menu. And we're gonna do one more, okay? And I'm gonna show you guys how easy this is. Now keep in mind, the last one we did was a Nintendo NES bubble. We did an NES bubble, right? But this time, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna do a Super Nintendo bubble, and I'm gonna show you guys how easy it is to switch to the Super Nintendo bubble. We're gonna hit 1, because 1 will take us to our input folder where we put our assets, our images, and our ROM. So I hit 1, and it opens up the exact folder that you need to drop it in. Now, to save time, I went ahead and got all these images and pulled my ROM already. So just to save time for the video. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you where to get ROMs from. Just Google it. You got Google. Use it. And then with the images, you know, you can choose whatever images you want. Just make sure they're named BG and icon 0. Okay. So I'm going to exit out of that. I'm going to paste those bad boys in there. Okay. Got my ROM file, BG, icon 0. The startup is no longer needed. It's all automated now. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to hit 2. That's for the easy VPK. It's going to do its thing. It's going to ping around on the screen for a little bit. Just wait. Just be patient. Okay. Now let's move this over here so you guys can see. Okay, same thing, guys. It's a bubble name. So this one actually is, and I've got to move around my camera to type this here. Oh, so that can... Adventures of Batman and Robin. Cool. I'm going to hit enter. And then we are going to do, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, they're all caps. There's 9 characters. You can put numbers in there if you want to. Just make sure it's 9. And then that's the title ID. I'm going to hit start or enter. Start. I've been on my arcade too much. Which, by the way, if you guys like arcade stuff, let me know in the comments and I'll do an arcade video. I got another build that I'm doing. Okay, so that should be done. We're gonna go back to the Retrobuilder. We are gonna go into VPK, and then there it is, Adventure. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and copy this and go back to my Vita so I can show you guys. Okay, brought up the Vita, and I'm gonna paste it in. There it is. And now that it's in there, it should be real easy. It's the same exact process, guys. I mean, this whole process is so seamless now. It is crazy how much DARRYL has accomplished here. I mean, it is fantastic. So this one is in my Super Nintendo. There it is. I named it Adventure because that was real creative and original. Follow me for more original ideas. And all right, gonna go back to my home screen, and boom, there it is, beautiful. All right, I'm gonna boot it up. Again, it takes a little bit longer, you know, because it's got to boot through RetroArch and then launch your ROM. And there it is. Just like that. Oh yeah, Super Nintendo. Everything, you gotta press start for everything Super Nintendo. Sound works. Everything works. Yeah, guys, so I just wanted to show y'all that real quick. This is a super easy method to be able to make these VPK bubbles, and I had to pass it along. Darryl has been doing so much good work with all this. I just could not let it go to waste. Could not just pass up on the opportunity to do a video on this, especially with how easy it's become now. So the one thing I'd always recommend is after you've made your bubble, I know we're all excited, we want to play, we want to go right into it, but just go ahead and hit 3 to package and archive. So that in that way it'll always be saved, your images and everything. And then you can hit 4 to go ahead and wipe the contents. So that's 3, enter, then 4, enter. And if we go and look, in your 1 resources, games, Super Nintendo, there it is right there, adventure. And it's all been backed up. The VPK, the images, everything. I mean, this is just fantastic. This is just so awesome. I had to share it with you guys. Leave a like on the video if you liked it or if I helped you out at all. And let me know if you guys want to see any other content. I'm thinking about doing a showcase of the Nintendo 64 emulator on the Vita, but I don't know if there's any interest in that. But let me know if you guys want to see that. Okay, later.